Neal Brennan here. As usual, this episode of The Champs is brought to you by Audible. Go to audiblepodcast.com/thechamps to get a free audio download when you sign up.
Free shit.
Books on tape is what you're going to get. You're going to get a free book on tape.
Exciting. I got some suggestions.
Well, let's go off, Moshe, before we... What do you think that's not something you didn't write?
Oh, no, I got nothing. No, I have been reading some cool books lately. I recently read World War Z, a very popular book.
Written by Max Brooks?
Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
But I found it really intriguing, really fun. And then I'm reading Stephen King's Under the Dome, which is being made into a CBS show.
I'm assuming these are all on tape.
They could not be.
They'd be fools.
For goodness sakes, yeah. So those are two great books, fun books if you want, And audiblepodcast.com/thechamps. You get to listen to it, so you don't have to waste your time reading. You can drive.
Yo, you got shit to do.
Straight up.
You don't... First of all, you can't read.
No, so we know you ignorant.
But you act like, oh, I'm so busy. Meanwhile, you have a secret, and that secret is illiteracy.
Yeah. Do you listen to incredible content on audio format? Yes, you do. You fuck with the champs.
Like, you know how many people would listen to this if it was written?
Nobody. Nobody would read
as
a transcript.
As an article?
Yeah, nobody's reading a transcript of the champs.
Yuck. And the Moshe, do you have any other ideas for books?
Well, they could always get my book, Kasher and the Rye, a wonderful book. It's a fun one.
Give them a little taste.
Oh, you want me to do?
Yeah, a little bit of the audiobook for Kasher and the Rye.
This is the audiobook experience of Kasher and the Rye. Sure, why not? Let me just start. Chapter 1.
Perfect. That's enough. Don't give them any more.
Yeah.
Guys, that's just a little bit of what you can get at audiblepodcast.com/thechamps. Go. It's good for us. It's good for you.
Get your shit.
Do your shit. audiblepodcast.com/thechamps. God bless. Here's a new episode with a surprise absence.
Now you're fucking with the champs.
Hello, everybody. Yeah. It's the champs. It's the champs. It's the champs. It's the champs.
We've been gone.
We are back.
Yeah,
Neal and I had a big fight, but you don't need to hear about it. Oh, listen, champs, you're fucking with us. We're back. Neal was on the road. I was on the road. I did some dirty shit where I didn't tell people how long I was going to be gone because I keep my shit shady like that. I don't need motherfuckers to know where I'm at, But we're back. So we got all your tweets. We get all your tweets. We appreciate it. We appreciate the champs.
We left you with a hot one. Rock was definitely a hot one.
Right. We figured we'd let that marinate for a few
that
weeks.
was our plan.
Yeah, the whole time that was our plan.
Yeah.
I've been out on the road, and I've had a lot of people come up to me in random places saying that they're big fans of the champs. I was at a men's clothier in Soho. A fellow came up to me, and he was like, oh, I love the champs. And all I wanted him to say was, I'll give you a discount on some clothes. He did not say that.
Did not happen.
I also did a gig in Tallahassee, Florida, where a artist came up to me and he had printed out this awesome poster of all of us in a boxing ring. I mean, it was amazing. I told you about it. I lost it. So if you're listening, and I
did really lose
I lost it with his contact information. So if you're listening, I'm an asshole, but get in touch. Email thechamps@gmail.com. And also get yourself a T-shirt. That's important. That's important stuff. Get your T-shirt. You go to bluecollardistro.com/thechamps.
Oh, we got to do dates too.
A T-shirt. That's
Shit.
the rule. We got to do dates.
Fuck.
I got some coming up. You got some?
We're co-dating. We dating the same hoe.
Okay.
We're both dating.
Oh, that's
we're
right.
Both going
about to be Eskimo brothers, but not with a woman.
We're going to be in. Well, first of all, I'm going to be in Houston Tuesday the 23rd at a place called Fitzgerald's, which is a rock club. That's like basically in a week. Next week, Tuesday, April 23rd. And then 24, 25, 26, 27 of April, me and Moshe will both be in Austin, Texas.
Fucking with the Moon Tower. Champ Tower.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean.
And then May 2nd through 5th, I'm going to be in Miami at the Improv. So come fuck with me there. Okay, so
I got some dates too, motherfucker.
Okay, go,
You're not the only
go.
working stand-up here.
Go.
Neal just recorded an hour special for Comedy Central.
Guys, it's all about this hour.
And his head is a little bit bigger than
Guys,
it was.
This is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, he came in here with a big swagger. I complimented him on his hair. He said, yes, my hair looked very good on the special.
I opened with it and closed with it.
I got some dates, too.
Go.
I am going to be at the Bridgetown Comedy Festival this upcoming weekend. And then the weekend after that, of course, with Neal, the great Neal Brennan, over at Moon Tower in Austin. And then I will be in May 2nd through the 5th, I will be in Washington, D.C. at the D.C. Improv. So fuck with me there. And then I'll be back on the road with Aziz. Just after that, I'll be all over the country. But, go to Aziz's website for that shit.
All right. Now, you may be noticing something about this episode of the podcast so far, an absent voice. That voice with that absence would be Douggpound, DJ Douggpound.
DJ Douggpound has passed away. He's died.
He did not die.
He didn't die.
But he is dead to us. No, he's not dead
no, he's not dead to us.
No, basically he quit.
He quit.
So
the
we
podcast.
thought we didn't.
He is
really
no longer fucking with the champs.
Fully know how to explain it. So he made a recording.
Hi, champs. This is
DJ Douggpound in the mix.
Maybe you're wondering why.
You're fired.
No, I'm not fired. You're probably wondering why did I quit the champs?
Did you really?
Well, I figure I should make a little recording to explain why. Basically,
Well, we're waiting.
I just got burnt out. It's a lot of work. Year and a half. Over 800 drops accumulated. I don't know how many podcasts did we do? 50? How much money did I make?
Nothing.
A lot of work. Zero money. Year and a half.
Oh, that's gonna give me some hate mail. Am I wrong?
I got a busy life.
All right.
I'm trying to make videos. I'm trying to make music.
All right, you bitch.
Trying to do a lot of stuff.
You make a good point. Thank you.
Doing a podcast was down on the list of things to do. It's just that simple. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
I hate to quit.
What were you saying?
Moshe and Neal, they're great guys.
Any questions?
Did I have creative differences with those guys?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what? That's what made the podcast good.
Talking about
I
Chappelle.
think it's a great podcast, but
I think we can just move on.
just got burnt out on it.
Say what?
Too much driving.
What turns you off?
I just can't do it all. I'm too busy. I got too many things to do.
Go on.
If you're waiting for a hug, you might want to pack a lunch.
I think the champs should still continue on without me. I think Moshe and Neal
Yes.
should keep doing their compelling interviews with fascinating guests.
You are wicked!
And I will...
Get her done.
Sorry, guys.
That's okay.
It's not the end of the world.
I blew it.
I like your mouth as much as I like your fingers. No.
We're not kidding, Neal. This is real.
Okay, bye.
What the fuck?
What are you doing?
That's a whole zoo.
Send me a little tweet. Hit me up on Twitter. Get up off Twitter.
And just like that,
Just like that, he
Doug was gone.
We found that recording on our doorstep.
that's right. We haven't heard from Doug since. But you know what? Who knows? Maybe Doug will show up at some point in this podcast future. But for now, Doug has retired. The champs are still fucking with you. We hope you're still fucking with us. It's now me and Neal.
Yeah, hopefully that's enough.
Yeah, no more drops. Some of you, the drops were controversial. So if you
People hated the drops. Some people hated the drops.
If you had
I think
friends that quit
we
their
personally
podcast,
thought that the drops were hilarious.
we love the drops, and we do feel sad that part of the character of this podcast is changing. And so with that,
You know what will probably fill it up, though? Our fucking incessant yammering.
that is for sure. There's no question about that. So if you had some friends that quit the podcast because there were too many drops, give them a call. Tell them to come back. The drops are gone, but Doug is
Hey,
still...
no hard feelings, bro. We
yeah,
get it.
Yeah, well, come on back. And, look, we love Doug. We'll miss
Yeah,
him
Doug's
very much.
hilarious. And even that thing that he just gave us was hilarious.
Yeah, man, he's a talented guy, but he just got burnt
And
out.
he's going to be making videos, I think, for Jash.
Yeah, he's doing a video series on Jash.
Which dovetails nicely into our episode.
One of the founders of Jash, the one and only...
The only black founder.
The only black founder the co-creator of jazz. So Neal's going to really get along with him.
Ladies and gentlemen, today's guest.
Well, you know him from all over the place.
What are your hot credits?
You've seen him everywhere. Comedy Central, Comedy Bang Bang.
I think probably the most visible are the contemporary performance spaces.
Definitely the contemporary. He's a TED talker.
Oh yeah, that is
a TED talk.
Yeah, that's pretty great.
Ladies
Our
and
first
gentlemen,
TED talker.
It's Reggie Watts.
Yes.
Thank you.
One hand.
Yes. Now, Reggie, I know I've seen you a lot, but I know close to nothing about you.
And I've seen you almost never, but I know everything there is to know about you.
And together we're the champs.
Neal
Hi,
and Moshe.
everybody.
Hey.
No. So what do you? How did you get? I don't know fucking shit about where. I don't even know where you're from.
I'm from Montana.
Is that true?
Mm-hmm.
And then when did you move to New York, or when did you start doing stand up?
It was basically it was Montana, 4 to 18, 18 to 32 was Seattle, Washington.
Oh, really? Okay.
And then 32 to 41. New York.
Well, here's the thing about Reggie. For those of the listeners that aren't familiar, which probably you already are, but your performance lies in a kind of like gray zone, and I sort of feel like you sort of oozed into comedy, and like because it was like the best fit out there. But what you do is sort of indefinable kind of a thing. And like before comedy, you were doing music festivals and things like that.
Yeah, I was strictly, I mean not strictly, but mostly in bands.
Yeah.
So doing music, recording music, performing.
Like in bands doing sort of vocal performance the way you do, or in bands playing instruments?
In bands playing instruments and vocalizing. I started out as mostly an instrumental guy. Like I was a keyboard guy, and I liked singing, but I just got chosen to be a keyboard cat. And then over time,
you was a keyboard cat.
Oh, you was down with the keyboard
I was
cats?
a keyboard
Oh,
cat.
you was a keyboard cat?
I was original keyboard cat.
Dude, I told you we were having a keyboard cat on tonight.
When I was working on I Spy, I remember
Bill Cosby.
we shot it in Shanghai, and it was a different time.
That actually sounded. I thought you were doing Quincy Jones at first.
Hey everybody, I'm Quincy Jones.
All right, and then so you were doing, because I find you're more, I don't even consider it comedy. I just consider it mind-blowing. Does that make sense?
But it is funny.
It's fun. It's so mind-blowing that you laugh. It's so awesome that you laugh.
Oh, thanks for making messes. I'll clean that up, I promise. Sorry, Natasha. Well, here's the deal. I don't know. I mean, it's a weird thing because I've always loved absurdity as a little kid.
Mm-hmm.
Anything super stupid, dumb, absurd, whether it was with sounds or with physical acting or just
give me an example.
Like, there's always this, like the opening sequence to Monty Python and the Holy Grail, when you hear a horse galloping and you see a hill. I knew nothing about it at the time. I was like a little kid sitting on my mom's bed watching TV, and then suddenly this guy with a gigantic backpack appears, rubbing coconuts together with a guy trotting next to him,
right?
Acting like he's on a horse. And I just lost it from that time. The time I saw that to the end of the movie, I couldn't believe what I was seeing.
Yeah.
My mind was like, it's like LSD for me.
Right, was seeing absurdity.
Yeah.
And do you feel?
But that's right. Like that's what it's like when you're a kid. It's like, wait, what? It's like I didn't even know this existed.
Yeah.
Like how
at all.
People are doing this is crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, do you feel like the fact that you grew up black in Montana? I'm assuming that there weren't a lot of other black people around. Is that true?
Not a lot of black people.
And
no.
you have
how about black bears? A lot of black bears.
A lot of black bears. You know,
how about black gold? Was there black gold underneath the ground?
Not as much as you'd think.
No,
not as much.
not.
Not any.
But do you feel like, and you also have like for those of you that don't know, I mean, Reggie looks like you're a very striking and severe looking person. You know, you look sort of wizard like. I would say sort of wizardly.
Got a wizard ring.
And I mean, do you feel like growing up in Montana affected your sort of penchant for the sort of outside the bounds of?
Oh, yeah, definitely, for sure. I mean, I attribute it to a few factors. One, it's being biracial, so
right.
Having a white mom with red hair and a black dad.
You are a second champ whose mom has red hair and dad is black. Blake Griffin being the other one.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, it's a good combo.
It is
You
a
know?
good combo.
It worked out well for you.
any
It's
mixed
good.
race, you're gonna come out all right.
You're going to come out better looking.
You're
than-
actually on the low end of how good looking you could have been.
I know. No, believe me, I know. I used to check the genetic projections all the time. I was like, I don't know, Doc. He was a little optimistic.
Yeah, like I don't know.
they had a eugenics chart of how hot you'd be.
Totally.
Yeah. Here's a biracial hotness
Yeah.
chart. Now you're an 8-year-old boy,
At
and you are
worst.
fuckable. I will say that.
No, I mean that was kind of that was it. There was that, and then there was language. My mother was French, so biracial, bilingual. Out in the middle of Montana.
How the fuck did you
Oh,
end
I
up
was
in
going to say
Montana?
you were speaking French on the phone when you walked in, and it was very good pronunciation. And I was like, I didn't know if you knew like one word.
Right.
But it turns out you know the whole thing.
It's like, wow, it's
The
like
whole
I really
word.
want to know how to say penchance as well as possible, but that's my only French word that I know. What is that? Oh, we're hearing backlash.
Oh, that's your effects processor.
Oh, is this backlash?
Yeah.
Oh, it's backlash.
That's you.
We're hearing backlash. Sorry, guys.
We're gonna get into
That's
that.
a spoiler alert.
That was
but
loopy.
Reggie has some fun equipment here
Sorry.
that may
I
come
have
into
some
play at some point.
I actually
equipment.
would like to. Why don't we start out with a song,
Sure.
and then we can? Because if people don't know what he does, basically, if you don't know Reggie, you should YouTube him or something. But right in front of us, explain the equipment you have.
Yeah, I have a Line 6 DL4. It's a delay pedal that also has a basic looping function on it. And then next to it is an Electro Harmonix 2880, which is a 4-track looping machine. So it gives me 4 separate tracks to create 4 different loops on top of each other.
And
Okay.
Here's a Champs exclusive. You want to do something?
Yeah. Champs-Élysées.
Did you hear that?
That's the name.
Champs-Élysées.
That's it.
That's French.
All right. I might need a little bit more level. Here we go. Check 1, 2, Harikari. All right. Okay. I'm very happy. All right. Stand by.
Standing by.
Standing by, ready for Reggie Watts.
Initiating.
Red Bone standing by.
Red Bone. This is Zev.
Funky Red.
We're Funky Red coming at you. Hello. Okay, we're here. And then we disappear, then we appear. Okay, here we go. It's a pumpernickel, I think is the word. Pumpernickel. Staticky? Good? Okay. Stand by. Second layer. Initiating.
Standing by.
When you're going down Champs-Élysées, get your champs on, get your champs and Neals. They are good in the morning. When you do what you do and you see it's good, just know you're a champion. You're a champion.
Oh, no, man. I just feel it's kind of weird.
Come on down to the one and only place. You can see the little wagging of the little tiny tails. It's a dog-eat-dog world, yes. You know about it. Champion, champion, champion. Champion, champion, champion. Champion, champion, champion. Champion, champion, champion.
Well. Ladies and gentlemen, Reggie Watts.
Again, so I don't even know how to describe that.
Well, what I was thinking, and it was something that I was thinking about you today, Reggie, when I was thinking about you coming by, was like, there's very few people in the comedy world that can ever do anything that I would say is like, there's the moments of your set that are almost heartbreaking. And almost there is heartbreaking through, like, you know, some of the Doug Stanhope or Marin, there's heartbreaking through, like, trauma.
Right,
like they talk about their deepest pain. But yours, and I think that it speaks to this abstractness that you're into, this absurdity, is like it's a emotional heartbreaking of beauty instead of this heartbreaking of like human waste. It's beauty, and there's very little beauty in comedy in a weird way.
Yeah, no, that really was beautiful. That was I was hoping you'd say beautiful because it actually was.
Thank you.
And we don't fuck with beauty.
Yeah, we don't.
Episode over, son.
Yeah, you got to go. Dude. What do you think? What do you think the role of beauty and plays in comedy? I mean, or prettiness or musicality. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I mean, I was thinking about Victor Borge recently. Yeah, Sesame Street.
You know him?
No.
Fucking funny.
Yeah, amazing. Kind of a physical musical comedian, and he did this piece that was very, very notorious. Of like, I forgot what it was. It was some Beethoven thing or something like that. And he started playing this piece on the piano. It sounded kind of familiar, but wasn't quite sure what it was. Then he stops at a certain point, and he turns the music right side up, and then you realize it is a Beethoven piece, but he'd been playing it backwards.
Wow!
But also not only backwards, but right hand and left hand inverted.
Wow. And you'd have to be like a real. You'd have to know music to know that it was right hand, left hand inverted.
I mean, it's like he just literally flipped it. He just flipped it.
I'm more than anything, I'm just curious as to how you started doing this, and were you scared? I mean, like, what was the process? Like, did you ever thought like, I bet if I got a thing, I could like, what was from the beginning of it to now? What was it like?
I think it was definitely high school drama. Without high school drama, because in Montana in the 80s when I was in high school, we had competitive dramatics, which was we would go to other schools in the state and then we'd compete in 5 events. Like there's mime. There was serious solo, serious duo, humorous solo, humorous duo, which kind of loosely was based off of the speech and debate kind of format,
right.
But just a theater version of that. And Texas did it
so
too.
Like Last Comic Standing? Go ahead.
Proto Last Comic Standing.
Kind of, yeah, kind of. But like, you'd go into these high schools over the weekend when no school wasn't in session, but they'd have these tournaments, and all these schools would go to compete until, they made it all the way to state.
Right.
And so, yeah, because of that, the first year I did humorous solo, and I didn't want to pick a piece and recite something because I was terrible at memorization. So I just decided to improvise something. And so I started out just fully improvising all the way, and then creating gags and stuff along the way.
By yourself?
By myself.
On stage?
Yeah, on stage in classrooms,
sure.
In empty classrooms with judges, 3 adult people that were watching, but and some of your peers that were going to be competing against you. But that was the platform, and I was just doing whatever, and then by the end of the year I had a thing.
Right.
It was like a kind of a written piece.
Oh, and you had an actual piece of your own.
Yeah.
Just what had worked, you sort of was like, all right, that worked.
Yeah,
keep that
it was
in.
like an evolution thing or whatever. Kind of, there was.
What was the bit about? What was the piece?
I mean, I don't really remember it. All I remember is that I did have a gag where I had one pair of underwear, but I put another pair of underwear over that, but it was cut out so I could pull it out.
That's what I'm talking about. The beauty and heartbreakingness of comedy. 2 pairs of underwear. Boing.
Really very French.
I mean, anything that's it's painful and it deals with that area of the body.
Wedgies,
wedgies
are heartbreaking.
People just oh my God, I do not wish that on anybody right now.
Well, I was listening to this episode of Radio Lab recently. They were talking about improv, that in a real freeform improv, there's this moment where you figure out for yourself what the story of the bit is.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like you go up there with sort of nothing, and you just sort of start fidgeting around until you go. Does that happen to you? Like there's a moment where you go, this is what this bit is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely. Yeah. Those are the things that you're hoping to run into. But you can kind of run interference until you get another one of those moments, hopefully. But that's like kind of improvisation's great in that way. Like, if you've been doing it long enough, there are things that you know that you can do that you can kind of allow to function autonomously while you're trying to like essentially reconnect,
right?
To like, what is that stream that gives me those moments or whatever that is.
Has anything awful ever happened to you trying to find one of those moments?
I mean, it's about self-doubt. So once you start going like, oh shit, what am I doing up here? Once that starts to set in, you're fucked.
Yeah.
No, we talk about that a lot. That stand-up is like the invisible power in stand-up that people don't talk about a lot is it's power. It's you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like people talk about material and presence and persona and jokes, but really a lot of it is about power and sort of just grabbing somebody by the throat.
Yeah. Well, it's the confidence. Like you're not even remotely questioning why you're up on that stage at all.
Right.
Like not even close.
Yeah, you're supposed to be there.
You're supposed to be there, and people are like, "Wow, this person really supposed to be there."
Right.
So, this guy's in charge.
This guy
Cosby told Seinfeld like you're the pilot of the plane, and you just bring the plane up. You don't go like, I'm gonna try, guys. Hi, hey.
Your pilot.
Okay, so high school drama.
Yeah.
So you started getting good at that, and so you had a decent a reasonably funny thing.
Yeah, I mean, and then I did some. I would go. Actually, it's funny. There was a stand-up competition in Great Falls at the Sheraton Hotel,
of course,
and the prize was like it was like $300 or something like that. And I tried out for it, and I won it.
You won the whole competition?
Yeah.
When you were 18,
with this
17,
Great
with
Falls,
this Great Falls, Montana.
With your underwear big gag?
Yeah, I had the underwear gag. I did, but I also did impersonation. I did like Bill Cosby. I did like a terrible Michael Jackson thing. I did but it was weird. But I always picked like pop culture references that people could hook into, because
right.
I was into them, but it was more like I was just throwing them out there because they're things that keep spin on the ball.
But so you would do it just to like keep to feed the feed the masses
to an unconscious level. I don't think I was like, all right, well, if I throw in pop culture references, it'll hook their attention in a way that,
but they were abstract Cosby, Michael Jackson.
It was more like this is what I was into, but then mix it in with a bunch of crazy random ideas, and so it seems to make sense, but it only makes sense because there's familiarity, and familiarity feels like a sort of order.
Oh,
right. Okay, so you win the Great Falls Sheraton stand-up competition.
That to me that blows my mind. Is to think about this, like, because you're one of the more avant-garde performers in comedy, and that is one of the least avant-garde comedy situations possible.
A Sheraton
in Great Falls. I just imagine these guys getting up with such like traditional stand-up, and then in walks this this wizard. Let's be honest.
Well,
did you have a wild look back then?
Yeah, man. I had half my head was shaved. It was like kind of
cool.
semi-straight. And kind of waved over with a lot of mousse, and I had like had some earrings.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, I was a weird looking.
That's so awesome
kind
to
of
me.
Weird skater looking non-skater kid.
Well, I guess he wins.
So you win, and then what?
Well, I mean, I got the money, and then we bought a lot of weed with the money.
How much money?
It was like $300.
So all the money in the world.
Yeah, it was like everything for a teenager. Like I was like, "What? That's free money,
set for life."
Yeah. So like my friend immediately took it from me, and then bought a bunch of weed with
Hit
it.
you in the nuts, because that's what 18-year-olds
and
do.
I was like, D's nuts?
Yes.
Yeah.
Reggie coming through with the D's nuts joke. Neal's frowning deeply right now.
How's the setup?
Feeling good about it.
I don't know. But that's kind of like weird. And then I toured a little bit. I did a little bit of touring with stand-up, like 2 out-of-town gigs.
Basically, some booker heard about you winning the contest, and then,
that's what it was. Like, you get a couple gigs or something from it. And so
a couple other Sheratons.
Yeah, a couple. Well, I don't even remember where I went, but it was really weird. My mom had to drive me there.
We got you in Great Falls, Idaho, Great Falls, Montana, and Great Falls, Wyoming.
All the Great Falls.
The greatest of all the Great Falls.
That's it. Great Falls, greatest hits. The only 3.
2 gigs, then what?
2 gigs, and then I got more back into. I mean, I was always into music. I was in the school music program for violin, and I did piano as well. But I got a synthesizer, and then I started getting into bands. Like, I had a band in high school, and so we started playing covers and weird shit like that. And Yeah, and so then I never really got back into that. I never got back into drama in that way, and I think the program kind of changed drastically after that. I won state with my writing partner because my second year in drama, I did a humorous duo. I did this thing with this guy, Wally Bossy, who's still in Great Falls, Montana. Brilliant man. But yeah, we had a thing where we started improvisationally, and then it built into its own piece. It was called Two Guys Doing Stuff, and yeah, it was like a John Hughes movie-ending dream, for sure. Being in a very condensed manner, just us in the final round in Billings, Montana, against Billings West, which was the team to beat. Like, they were unbeatable. You know, they were a juggernaut.
They were the unbeatable Billings.
They were unbeatable Billings West. Just don't fuck with them.
Were you Billings East?
No, I was Great Falls.
Okay.
We were Great Falls Bison.
Come on, get it straight. He was Great Falls Sheraton.
Come on. But like, yeah, we did it. We performed, but a judge wasn't there, so they told us to perform anyway. So we performed. Room was totally packed. There's a small window for the classroom, and you could just see these faces straining to like look in. So it was like super packed. We got done. People were like, "Yeah, that was awesome, woo!" And then a judge shows up late, and then our coach takes us aside and is like, "Listen, judge showed up. You're going to have to perform again. You have to perform the piece again. If you don't, then you'll be disqualified." We're like, well, I guess we got to do this, So we went in and we rocked the piece, and that way people actually saw how that was slightly improvisational, and
right.
It was even a bigger response. And then we ended up winning. Like, we were in this massive auditorium with all the competitors.
Did the guys from Billings East get a giant Billings West get a giant thing of fudge poured on them after you guys won?
I would.
Now that's what I call a great
fall. Did they
fall.
end up in a big pile of manure?
No. Someone recalibrates this experimental space laser into the room of the professor that has a huge amount of unpopped popcorn,
right?
And it just starts just destroys their house.
And you make love to the bully's girlfriend inside the popcorn.
Yeah,
right?
inside of a Trans Am T-top. Like,
yeah, that's awesome.
That
really
is exactly how it ended.
Yeah,
and what a better way to win.
Okay, so you win that.
Yeah,
you win it. So
you went varsity. You were varsity drama, basically, right?
Kind of. Yeah, kind of.
You're like an all-state homosexual.
Yeah,
basically.
I was an all-state. I was an all-state theater through and through hag.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Okay, so then you stay in Great Falls, or then you move to Seattle, right?
Then when I was 18, I moved to Seattle, and then mostly just did bands. Twice in the 90s, or in the late 90s and the early 2000s, I did some sketch comedy.
Right.
I was always interested in comedy, but
you do look like the bassist from Soundgarden, correct?
You mean the guitar player Kim Thale?
Yeah.
Would
you get mistaken for him all the time?
No, I used to, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's also one of my favorite bands.
Yeah,
so I was like, all right.
Yeah, I'll take it.
I'll take it. That's fine.
So then you're in bands. Did you really like being in bands, or did you?
Yeah, I mean, I loved it. I mean, I was in some bands for, I think, just experiential reasons, but some bands because I needed the money, other bands because I really believed in it, other bands just to be doing shit. I was just always doing a lot of stuff. I was in like 4 bands usually at any given time. I was cruising around town in a bus, hauling my gear around, my big amp and my keyboard and the keyboard stand and my backpack. So like I was always busy back then, and then some heroes were better than others, like cover bands, like making a shitload of money off of cover bands, like disco cover bands.
Do you think you would have been satisfied had you made it as a musician, a non-comedic performer?
I don't think so. Now that I look back, I love being on stage doing whatever so much, like by myself, because it's really kind of how I started, and I really appreciate. I love collaborating with other people, and I like creating things with other people. But there's something. I mean, if that's a project-to-project basis, as opposed to a commitment of like I'm in a group of people, and we don't. There's no.
It's pretty static.
It's pretty
songs
static.
Are songs.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely a power in it. There's a power in having a group of people, an ensemble, performing and projecting something in relative unison. But like being by yourself and being an improviser, I mean, that's the greatest, because you can make a decision and it can just happen, and you don't have to. There's no checks and balances with it. improv. I tried doing improv on the other hand, and improv I was terrible at.
Just straight improv.
Straight improv, yeah.
Like being in a scene. And
being in a scene, and like, and being, because it had too many rules, which it barely has. I mean, it has enough rules to make it function really well, but like for me, that was too many rules, and so I was thinking too much specifically about the rules instead of like just improvising. But if I'm just improvising, no one's saying it. It's the way I like to play.
Do you
Frisbee.
think you'd be better at improvising now?
Not in that structured sense.
Got it.
It's how I like to play Frisbee, which is like
But as naked, correct?
Well, I like the naked for sure, because I like that feeling when you slide on your ass on the grass. You know what I'm saying? No, but I just like, I like the idea of like when someone's like, I love Ultimate. I'm like, I don't like Ultimate. Let's just throw the Frisbee around, or they'll be like, hey, let's play this game where you're supposed to hit in this certain region. Like, how about we just throw the Frisbee around? Like, so it's easier just to throw it around and improvise. And so for a scene, if I'm with other people, if we just start going and a scene just happens and everyone gives themselves permission to go wherever, I can do that for a long, long time. And I'm trying to do more of that as proof to myself, but also just to record things.
How did you develop this?
I don't know, man. I mean, I guess the point is that when I was doing what I was doing in drama back in high school, that's exactly what I'm doing now. Like that, it really hasn't changed that much. It's kind of what I've always done, which is mimic things that I think sound funny, or concepts, like twist the idea of things from their intended purpose, potentially. And kind of reflecting back things that I really think are weird and I love or bother me, but in abstract, cartoonish character ways, or sometimes really just kind of an honest, right down the middle, matter of fact tonality. Yeah, basically anything that distorts the possibility of understanding something directly, but has the shell of things that sound like it means something. If that makes any sense. Like,
and you feel like how many of your songs succeed in that way?
Well, I mean, like Fuck Shit Stack works because, I mean, there are literal verses in that. It's like I'm actually just voicing opinions, so that's pretty literal. But like, I mean, Fuck Shit Stack is nothing and it doesn't mean anything. I never thought it meant anything. It just evolved because it sounded like an absurd series of words to say. And that was kind of it. But the theory is that if you find something that's absurd in whatever way it is, it doesn't have to make sense, but it'll still be very, very memorable. Like it's still a memorable concept, and also if people ascribe meaning to it as well. And
so
that's my favorite form.
You reject the idea that Fuck Shit Stack has a oblique satirical message.
It definitely has a satirical message in that it makes fun of hip hop, and
for sure.
And the verses are like, I mean, I should say it doesn't make fun of hip hop. It makes fun of a particular type of hip hop.
Yeah, sort of blingy kind of.
Yeah. It's just like, just whatever.
Money rap.
Yeah, it's like, but you'd expect it to not be around anymore. Like that's how like inane I thought it was when it came out in the mid '90s.
You're like, oh, this will pass.
Yeah, like
nah,
this can't stay. This is absurd. This is ridiculous. And like, no. It's
people
still
only
happens.
going to be able to take 10 of these songs, and it's like
we're going to be able to
10,
take
000.
a decade.
Yeah,
we'll be
like
able to
10 of these,
years,
and we'll be over it. And it's like, oh, we're not even. There's no end. To the
22 years later, like, still happening.
Still people
Lil
love
Wayne
talking
is the
about
poet
products.
laureate of the United States.
It's like it just turns out that as long as slang terms keep evolving,
that's all you need.
That's it. Slang terms and marketing, like the two propelling each
okay,
other.
so like when the song that you played, you just made for us.
Yeah.
Did you have a goal at the beginning of it?
No.
And did you have? And no idea.
No.
Do you have like go through the day and go like, that might be a funny idea?
Sometimes I'll do that, and I'll think of. I mean, there are things that I will hold on to, and sometimes I'll forget about that. Like I might not write them down, but I'll hope that I remember them someday.
Right.
Maybe a year and a half later, suddenly I'll do something on stage, and I'll be like, oh,
I remember that.
I remember that. Yeah, I remember thinking about that. But for stuff like this, it's more like I just hope that I find something that's interesting in the very beginning. Like whatever
That's
the first thing.
You ever
that I
hear
put
Richard
down is
Pryor's thing? He said the only time he worries about his act, he just says, if I get him in the first 40 seconds, I'm good. He's like, that's the only part of my act I worry about is the first 40 seconds, and that's it. Like that was how would you rate that song? Do you even think about it?
I mean, not really. I mean, I would say it's okay, but like it's definitely about like, does it start? If it starts all right, then I can add something. As long as I'm careful about everything that I'm adding, I can correct things a little bit. But I hope that the best types of music that I can create with looping equipment is stuff that like every layer that I put on, I really dig. Or
right.
Even if it's not executed perfectly, if it represents an idea that's interesting, then I'm down. But that doesn't always happen. Sometimes I just come up with something. I'm like, this is so derivative of myself.
Right.
I don't like that feeling. And so, I mean, and that happens with written material, obviously, as well. Like every time you deliver something, if it gets stronger, or it becomes different, you know more about it. Like that's like kind of a similar thing. But yeah, so I mean, for this, I just kind of like laid it down. I was like, okay, that's good. Okay, we'll add some of this. All right, well, let's see what happens when I hope this works. Okay, that's not so bad. Okay, let's try to correct it this way. It's really just a dialogue.
And it's a bit of analysis as you're going along.
A little bit, yeah.
But you try. I mean, obviously, you have to be careful because you don't want to get too analytical. Correct?
Yeah, you don't want to get too analytical. I mean. Yeah, I mean, you don't want to get too analytical, but it's somewhere between analysis and intuition.
Right.
It's like that's like the sweet spot. So you have a slight awareness to it, but not too much awareness that it overrides intuition.
Do you ever feel jealousy when you see someone like? Do you ever feel jealousy when you see like me with like a fly lady? No. Yeah. No. Do you ever feel jealousy when you see someone like?
You ever when Moshe travels through time to back when there were fly ladies?
Hey, back in the day. Hey,
back in 1990.
Cat.
No, I get it.
Like when you see somebody like we were talking about, like a Stanhope or Bill Burr, somebody that's so fully concrete and so all about real perspective.
Yes.
Do you ever go, I wish I could talk about what's really in my brain? Or
well,
instead of unlocking my brain.
Yeah. No, I do think about that. Yeah, when I'm on stage or at a club and I'm watching someone like I'm essentially a master or someone just killing it at the moment, like. I love it because I appreciate people who actually put work into what they're doing and thinking about it and honing it on the road and like practicing it in different ways and just like getting it to this point at which it's just so in the moment and making realizations, causing realizations. Like that type of shit to me, of course I think, wow. But I also, here's the thing. I know I can't do that.
Right.
Like that's not, at least in that way. I might accidentally sometimes on stage, like I'll be talking or there have been times when I haven't brought my gear at all and I'm doing like 7 minutes or something and I'll say like, okay, no gear. I'm just going to pretend like I'm a stand-up comedian. So I go up there and just start talking like this and go, hey guys, so the other day I was at the, the Costas Mall, whatever. And I was just like standing in line. Next thing you know, I get a call, and it's my wife. And my wife says to me, I told you, if you leave one more time, something like that, like that.
That's uncanny because that is exactly what Neal and I sound like every time we do this.
What?
Yeah.
Have you seen me?
No. Oh my God.
That's Neal Brennan.
Do you know my wife bit?
Yeah. I got a call from my wife.
I'm so sorry.
That's interesting in that you never write a bit.
No, I mean, sometimes, I have like my Beyonce thing that I do where I'm like, Beyonce 2 years from now, something blah, 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 or Beyonce, blah, blah. I'll do like something like that, or I have like a bit where I start out with, I turned gay recently because being gay is a choice. Like I have like certain things that I've done in the past, but I would say I have about 10 of those.
Yeah, they're like little ropes that you that make a set that you then attach your
and they're 30 seconds long.
Yeah, I mean, some of them are long stories.
Got it.
Meander, like my horse walks into a bar thing is basically just, horse walking to a bar and then the continuation of
and that's
the
the point
reaction.
of it. That's the point, is that it doesn't take you anywhere.
It's like, or it just takes you. It just turns into a real situation.
Yeah.
Okay, tell me how this started. What you're doing,
the loopy thing,
just like the how you came to be the man we know today. Like, so it's the idea of you were building improv scenes in high school based on props or based on whatever.
Mm-hmm. Take us through Black Hogwarts.
So then, when you realized that, when did you go like, I bet I could make songs up and have them be funny? And that's what I'm curious about.
Well, I mean, the funny song thing was definitely something I was doing in elementary school, like to a certain extent. Like I would redo songs. Like I even did another version of "Eat It" called "Clean It."
It's
unnecessary.
Parody.
Yeah, it's unnecessary to parody that song. It's already been parodied, but I parodied So I parodied. I don't know why, but I just so that was kind of there. But then, like in the '90s, when I was like doing the band things, sometimes we'd have these jam nights, and like when we would go on break, instead of me going on break with the rest of the band, I would stay on the mic and I would just do bits, or I'd do at the end of the night I would do shout outs, but I would just never stop shouting out to things, and it would just get weirder and weirder.
And would you use the loop machines at all?
No,
or echo or any pedal? Anything?
That I would use the loop machines came into being when I went on tour with Wayne Horowitz 4+1 Ensemble, which was this avant-garde jazz group that I was asked to be a part of by this composer Wayne Horowitz, getting right out of Cornish College of the Arts when I was about 27. And he asked me to be a part of the project, and we recorded a bunch, and I was using a Roland Space Echo, which is an analog delay machine. Mm-hmm. But they're very finicky, and after the record was recorded, he got a European tour. So I was going to Europe for my first time for a tour. I mean, for my first touring gig in Europe. And so the guy who did all the effects processing on a table where he ran all these analog instruments through this effect processing, and I were like, man, he had an Echoplex, and I had a Roland Space Echo, and we're like, these aren't going to survive this trip. They're just going to get beaten up, and we're not going to have these. And then we heard about Line 6 coming out with these pedals, these Line 6 pedals, and we went and tried them out, and we were like, these are incredible. So we each got one. And then I only used it as a delay machine, only doing echoes and repeats and delays. That's all I used it for. Of
your keys?
Of whatever I needed.
Or whatever. You would do vocals,
voice,
you would do...
Yeah, voice, keyboards, whatever, sound effects. Like, this would just be one of the effects that I'd route.
And improvising with this jazz.
The jazz thing wasn't so improvised, but there were moments when I would have solos. And
would you do the same thing every night?
No, always different. I mean, well, compositionally we would, but in the moments that I got to solo, it was just a solo, whatever I wanted to do. But I was,
and that would be music. That would be spoken.
All
that
music.
would be okay.
All music. Vocals and keyboards.
Okay.
Yeah. But I would say the solos were mostly vocal. But I was singing. I was using this also in my band Mock-Tube, kind of like my more serious band. And then I noticed that I had this loop function. And I started using the loop function to like sketch ideas to then give to the band. So I'd be, instead of like, I heard this groove in my head, and it was like, instead of like having to do it over and over again until the bass player got it, I would just loop it, and then I'd be like, well, the beat was kind of like, and I would do that, and then I might add like a guitar thing or something. I'd be like, what do you think, guys? And the band would just start playing.
Yeah.
And then they would, this wasn't every song, but like sometimes like I had an idea like that, and that was the fastest way to get everybody to play on it, because then I could stop singing.
That's one of my favorite things. It's just like necessity.
Yeah.
Just like you needed. It's like, I'm sick of fucking having to tell people what to do. Yeah. So let me just do it myself.
Yeah.
You listen to it.
Yeah.
And were you listening to like Rozelle and beatbox guys?
I mean, I knew of those guys, but like really, it was like it was Michael Winslow, Bobby McFerrin, the Fat Boys. People like Rozelle definitely came into the picture, and you were like, "What? This is so technical.
Yeah.
How's the
yeah?"
voice
Bobby
able to do
McFerrin
this?"
is on some robotic shit. He's on another level.
He's crazy, man, and especially his early stuff, way before Don't Worry. Be happy.
I thought that's the only thing.
Well, a lot of people think he's.
I was assuming
he's made whole records
started
that weren't that.
What?
Yeah.
Because when I listen to that, I'm just like,
it's crazy.
No, he made half a record before that.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
No, he's really a master, man. I mean, he's really good.
Yeah, no, he's incredible. But like that, it was an example of what the human voice can do. And I liked him more because he was like a vocalist, or Al Jarreau. He used his voice as an instrument.
Right.
And beatboxing ends up being more of a technical display of ability rather than necessarily musicianship.
That's interesting, right?
So oftentimes when I would hear Rozelle, I would be like, holy shit, this is amazing. But like, it wasn't a song. It was just,
right.
It was like turntablism. That's where it came from.
Right.
But like, turntablists doing their thing, and you're like, wow, that's technically amazing.
But I can't dance to that
Yeah,
at all.
I can't dance to that at all,
Right.
no. But those types of people definitely influenced.
So then you added humor. Did you just decide I'm going to go solo and I'm going to add humor back into the mix like in Drama Club?
Yeah, I think it just was always there. Like
Yeah.
if it was just me on the mic, there's no way I'm going to be like, ladies and gentlemen, my next song is like.
Right.
I think that's too ridiculous. So
My
I'd have
name's
to
Al
comment on
Jarreau.
it. Yeah, my name is Al Jarreau. Or I'd just like play a song on the piano and then I would just recount the entire plot of Empire Strikes Back or something like that.
Right.
As best as I could over this song, but in a kind of a ballad form. So it was always like improvising like on a keyboard or this type of thing, like making a beat. And then I was like, oh, well, I could kind of mimic electronic music, hip hop, whatever.
Do you want to do another one for us?
Yeah, let's do one more. Okay. All right, we back here. This goes out to all my Cypriot friends. The more Cypriot you can get, the more better life becomes. Okay. We add a little bit of this because people can't survive too much without this sound. Yeah. Can you hear that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Equalize that shit. Yo, get that gain structure under control. Here we go.
But you don't and you won't say how it is to be loved. It is to be loved, but you know it and you say that it's far too hard, but we never knew what we was talking about. Get on the cupcakes you made, cupcakes you made, cupcakes you made. Learn a lot just from the cupcakes you made. You make them so good and you make them so great. Not situation, but you never know where it's going. And if you want something stronger inside, you can show me so much. You can go try. You got the same situation. Feel that right here. Champion sound. Righteous. We know what we say, but we know
how it goes. We wanna make sure that it goes. Yes, I wanna be there when you do. You wanna know how it goes, but I just don't even know. Don't care. Wish I had to understand the word from the line that I saw it from the words that you said. Adjectives word like they wording so red, but I didn't do my AMA, my AMA. I don't know what it is, but I did one just the other day, and it was just like asking questions on display. Whoa.
Well, all right.
Sure.
I mean, that's totally great.
Yeah, that's what's like. It's not fucking. It's funny because it's so virtuosic. It's so like, what the fuck are you doing? You ever seen that kid A-Rab music, by the way?
Yeah. The
he has an MPC.
Yeah.
It's like not, but
no.
But it is like it's this virtuosic thing. He's like a 19-year-old kid from the Bronx or something. And he just makes these. He makes live beats with an MPC, right?
Yeah.
And they're crazy.
Right.
And he's doing it with his hands, and he's really fast.
Yes. Yeah.
So I guess do you ever think of like you went into some dance hall shit? Do you ever go like, I want to do some more dance hall reggae, or like are there genres that you're like, I want to go in there more often, or are there?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes. I mean, I like to. I mean, trap music is kind of a new thing that I've just. I know it's been out for a while, but I just started. I was able to like go, oh, that's trap music. Like for a long time, it was just stuff that a friend of mine was really into. Like and so that's really how I related to it. And I was like, oh, it's cool. Or Diplo dips into it or whatever. But then, so trap has been something I haven't really successfully done live, but I would definitely love to get into it.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that you keep asking him. I think it's like trying to wrap your brain around a process that's so crazy different from your process, Neal. Like, as a real joke guy.
Yeah, I like written jokes and structured. And so it's like, wait, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, holding on to
like, wait, so you'll go on Conan and not have any idea what you're going to do.
I mean, for the most part, yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy to me.
But that's what's cool about it is that it still is. It's like Neal's a joke, dude. Like probably one of the most that I know. Yeah. And you're on the other, and it's still sort of the same umbrella of like, people are laughing. What the fuck's happening? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And do you think that there's any more or less or equal purity to laughter from pure emotion and not understanding, or from laughter from wrapping your brain around what Neal said and that concept that he's introducing in the punchline?
Well, I think of it as the same. It's very similar to jazz, to free jazz, and classical music,
right?
In a way, it's like classical music. All these people train and hone, and for just their instruments, they have a relationship to that. But then they have a relationship to the music that's like it's structured. A composer sat down, was very specific about it, and then you have a group of musicians 300 years later,
right?
Who are now playing that music, and there's a conductor that, if they really get inside of it, like knows the feeling of it and can really conduct it. And in that moment, you're not thinking about history, you're not thinking about technique, you're not thinking about anything. You're just thinking about this amazing music,
right?
And so the same thing happens with free jazz. It's like it's not everybody's cup of tea, but when it's really great and beautiful, it's no different than something that had been structured and practiced and rehearsed.
Right.
So in the moment, they're exactly kind of the same thing. So
when people wanted you to do comedy shows or comedy rooms, were you kind of like, no?
Well, yeah, I mean, at first it was kind of crazy, but I always liked the challenge of being able to do whatever I do in any space. Like, I just think that there's something kind of fun about that. And when I first came to New York, I mean, if it wouldn't have been for inviting them up, you know, I don't know.
You might not have ever gotten invited up.
Yeah, I might not have ever actually gotten invited up.
So you're saying basically, if there had been an alt comedy thing happening, forgive me for using the word,
sure,
then you might not have ever really gotten ushered into the comedy world.
And did they just say, please do this show? And you were like, what? And they're like, no, you got to do the show Monday or whenever it was?
Well, it was more like, what was it? There was a friend of Eugene Merman's who was part of a dance, who was an invited artist from Brooklyn working with a contemporary dance performance dance group. And I ended up being heavily into the modern dance community, so I was like really into supporting them. They asked my band
You were fucking a lot of dancers?
to do it. No, actually,
what
at
you
that time I
Modern
wasn't.
dance, one of the most hilarious things.
It is
Huge
pretty funny
crossover
stuff.
into comedy.
Massive. But for some reason he knew Eugene because I think they went to school together or something like that. And he was like, yeah, Eugene has this crazy cool night he does with this guy Bobby Tisdale. You should check it out. And then, weirdly enough, Stella happened to be coming through town. Eugene Merman was opening for Stella. And I went and saw them and then was introduced to Eugene Merman. And then I got invited to do the show. I did the show. And then what happened? Oh, and then, I got to do the show. And then people didn't not like it.
Right.
You know, so I was like, oh, this is cool. And they were like, yeah, anytime you want to come by and do the show, do the show. So that was kind of how it happened. I just felt accepted immediately.
Are you being humbled by saying people did not like it? Did you crush or did you do
I don't know
well?
if I crushed. I definitely did what I did. And I think people were like, oh, that's cool. Like that's really the feeling that I got. Like if I honestly think about it, people were like, oh yeah, that's cool. Yeah, come back.
Do you know when you crush?
I mean, sometimes I might have a sense of that idea, but I mean, I can definitely feel like, oh, okay, this moment right now, this is probably, it feels really great to me. I hope that it feels as great as it does for me out there. Like, I hope so. And in a way, like, it just kind of, I'm not even thinking that much. I'm just like, oh, this feels really great.
Well, the other interesting thing about what you do that I think a lot of, like, straight stand-ups don't get the advantage of is, like, when we hear silence, it's like, oh my God! It's like panic-inducing.
Gotta get the fuck out of here.
Oh my, this is the
I gotta
worst.
Get the fuck out of here.
But
like, roll the windows up.
You could have moments of like minutes of silence of people just being sort of blown away by the musicality of what's happening, and then they come back and they're laughing again. So you have like this weird, cool advantage with being able to play with.
Yeah, I mean it's fun that way, and it's also fun to play with silence, because it's not cool.
Yeah.
Like there's kind of a. I mean, in a way, like I do feel like music is like a little bit of a cheat because when you use it, it creates a state that is kind of instantaneous in a way. Like as long as it's decent, like music. When people hear music, and it's all right. They're like, okay, it just puts them in this mood because there's something to like.
It puts you in a different state.
Yeah.
Of awareness.
Yeah. So you're like, and if it's so I know that sometimes I'll think, okay, I have that. But how can I play off of that expectation or hold it off or give them a bunch of it up front and then like nothing for a long, long, long time in the middle? And that's a different form of like playing with like sometimes there's a lot of silence and that can be fun.
When you were talking about the different styles of comedy, I feel like we all of us end up at the same place. But you take a fucking crazy door. Like you fucking like, I'm going to put you in a trance. I'm going to put you in the state of being 6. And then I'm going to sneak through the window and you won't even know. And then you're just tickling and you're like, where the fuck did you come from?
Where did this black wizard come from?
You're still over there, aren't you? No.
Well, you know what's funny is we always talk about race. And I feel like I'm sure it's played a big part in your life.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I feel like it couldn't be less relevant to you.
Yeah, definitely.
But that's interesting. He
It's
says
weird.
that because you're the thing that you often do in the first few minutes of his set is he just goes. He'll start off a British fellow with like a highfalutin accent, and then all of a sudden he's a Jamaican dude. Then he's an American black guy. Then he's a white guy. Then you're a white voice guy, and you're like, wait, who's Reggie? Who's Reggie?
Yeah.
So it's like it is sort of casting meaninglessness to all of the differences.
Yeah, definitely. That's what's so hilarious about it. For me, it's like, oh yeah, there are all these. It's also like social languages too. Like if you can, it's like it's nice to like have a feeling for something and feel like I could like kind of reflect it back in a quasi realistic way, and it's kind of fun to be able to switch into that and like have people go, no way, like it's nice. It's like a good feeling. You're like, yeah, I got your back too.
And I feel like you probably, as a result of, I'm sure you've cultivated this look specifically because you've literally made yourself as close to. I'd say like people would. I don't think you'll have like if Questlove walks down the street. Sorry, Amir. If he walks down the street, like if someone doesn't know him, they may cross this. Like a white lady's going to cross the street if Amir's walking toward her.
Every single white lady,
60-year-old,
60
every
above.
single white lady above 60 who's not super liberal and didn't volunteer
6-year-old with
for Obama.
cornrows. You got cornrows.
Now
That
what
would
I'm-
help.
So I feel like you, on the other hand. You're like from fucking outer space.
I would say a 6-year-old would cross the street because it'd be like,
yeah, or like they'd cross. It's like you're not even. It's like they wouldn't cross the street out of racial fear. They'd cross the street out of like,
magic fear,
extraterrestrial
fear of magic.
I wish no part of that being's world.
Just like some Aleister Crowley shit.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
I
totally.
must. Yeah, like
No.
they. Like, have
This is
you?
of the devil.
Is that conscious or unconscious that you've made yourself into this figure?
I don't.
You're wearing suspenders. You're wearing.
I am.
You're wearing a sweatshirt with mountains or a long sleeve T-shirt with mountains. You're wearing rings. You're wearing. It's like it feels.
Wait. You did not just describe a wild looking person. You're wearing suspenders. You have a sweatshirt. You have a ring.
No, he's wearing. Like,
Hold on. Let me try
like,
it. Let me try it.
Go ahead.
You've got a huge gem of amber on your ring finger, and then your two pinkies. One is black, one is red. They're painted. They're long, like you do cocaine, but you don't do cocaine.
Like an Atlanta pimp.
Yeah, like a true Atlanta pimp
in the 80s.
And of course, there's the hair.
Yeah.
Big hair.
But it's lazy. It's a lazy man's haircut, facial hair. I mean, it's like, it's just. You don't. I mean, for me, it became like, well, like what? I don't have to do anything to do this. I'm just not going to cut it. And then, like shaving. After one day, I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll just stop shaving, and then just stop shaving and just see what happened. And then it just kind of stayed that way. And then what ends up happening is like that becomes your thing. And then I have to think, oh, if I cut my hair,
right?
So I kind of think about that in a weird way. So it's kind of an interesting lock. Like if you're known as the person that blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, because it's funny. You're a good actor. I can tell you're a good actor just from the thing you did earlier when you were doing the stand-up comic. Like you're a good actor. So I'm wondering if you go like, fuck, I wish I could cut my hair and go into play for whatever.
Oh, I mean, I've thought about that. There is some criteria, but I think that might happen. But yeah, I think at some point that'll have to happen.
You think so? Because I always look at you and say you've just written your own fucking ticket, man. Like you've just done everything your own way and none of it mattered. You know?
No, I mean it's really about it's about what being flexible to a certain degree. Like I like the idea of being not anonymous, but like being able to transform into other characters.
Right.
Like if for filming purposes or whatever.
Sure.
Like I like the idea of like, oh, I can become someone else, but not as like an end all be all. It's like not an ultimate goal. It's just something I'm curious about. So, but I have to think about like I'm going to shave off my beard after Bang Bang because my image isn't really required for a few months, so I can like regrow a beard.
See what's happening down there?
Yeah, I just want to exfoliate. I want to check to see what I look like at this age.
We're all excited.
I haven't seen my face in 7 years.
Reggie Watts.
I was like, oh no, I'm Mark Enstrom.
This is a bummer, but we're running out of time.
No worries.
I also feel like you probably have 1,000 influences. I mean, we all have a ton of influences, but I feel like you're wearing 1,000 influences. It's almost like you improvised a look. Like you went to a costume shop. You're just like, and then I'm going to get a fucking Indian. You're wearing like a Native American woman's jacket.
It's not like a woman's jacket.
It's like it's not necessarily a woman's jacket, but it's certainly like you can only buy it in Santa Fe. It's like turquoise and like Indian patterns and shit.
It's a Pendleton. It's a man's jacket.
I mean, I'm not saying it's not for men. I'm just saying it's not
No,
for.
but you're right. It is.
It's like you just go like, and then I'm going to wear hippie shoes, and then I'm going to wear nose, and then I'm going to wear like fucking rolled up. Yeah, like, it's funny. Yeah. Hey, you want to do a so yeah,
high tech pants. It's all high tech though. But the thing is about this look. It's that merino wool shirt, hyper breathable, doesn't retain a stink. The suspenders are a local Brooklyn-made woman who makes.
He's trying to tell you he didn't get it at no fucking Goodwill.
I don't know. I don't think. No, I don't think that you.
No, hold on. These pants right here, $750.
These pants were about $800, but they're made of like this crazy high tech material. So I mean, it's funny because all it is, it's a product of body changing and lifestyle, so, and I'm just kind of like, I don't mind trying shit that looks slightly futuristic if it makes me, or futuristic or weird, as long as I'm comfortable. So right. A lot of them are practical, like weirdly enough, like
you're
some of it, not the nails and shit, like the hair or whatever. It's like you become aware of these things as a performer. Obviously, you're like, oh well, my hair is like this, and feels cool, whatever. But like and the nails is something I've done since high school. But like it's more of a habit. But yeah, you accumulate things along the way, and suddenly, especially if you're allowed to just do what you do without a boss saying like, you'd better blah blah.
Yeah. Do you get insecure? Like, I had a faux hawk for a long time, and Moshe shamed me out of it.
I was supportive. I supported him out of it.
Look, I don't blame you. Yeah. But I'm wondering, like, do you ever go like, this hair is ridiculous? Does people ever go like, nice hair, and you're like, this is stupid hair. My hair is stupid.
It's funny. It's been like, I've always had some kind of weird hair, usually. Until one time I just cut my hair off, so it was really, really short, and it just looked like it was pretty normal. But I just never, I've had it so long, I always had weird hair of some sort. There are people saying something about it that it's just from kid programming. I'm like, I don't really care.
Well, that's, you're like a truly unique person. Like all original people, you can't help it.
Yeah.
It's not very premeditated. It's just like, I don't know, I got lazy, and then the pants.
Yeah, exactly.
My legs got big.
Comfortable in the weird.
But it is like specific to you.
Yeah.
Will you do a trap song for us?
Yeah, I could try my
attempt a trap song to say goodnight.
Yes.
To say goodbye to Reggie
Because I'm a
Watts.
huge fan of Diplo, and I would like to hear your take on some trap shit.
And that'll be the end.
Moomatone.
Okay. Gosh, all right. Let's see if I can even do this.
Reggie Watts, everybody.
Oh, God. Here we go. Let me add a little bit of sauce to it. Okay. Yeah, bark 'em up. Whoa, bark 'em up. Hear the bark of the bark is going bark. It's a bark since you bark. Feel like what you gon' do is like rolling and popping on the pussy and shit and watch it. Feeling like you want the word, but you can't do. I got wires in, poppin', pussies in my pussy like my pussy like. Got my poppin' pussy like my pussy juice. Junk running down my pussy juice. Yeah, feel that lick it up, pussy juice poppin' like pussies like pussies like just like pussies. Where my money and shit? What you talking about? You know where my money and shit?
I'ma do that, bitch. Yeah.
Yeah, my pussy's on fire.
Word.
Terrible, but it's getting there.
It was great. Reggie Watts, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks,
Reggie Watts.
Reggie, so much for coming on, man.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Appreciate
Thanks for
it.
waiting,
Bro.
guys.
Peace, man.
Now you're fucking with the champs.
Yeah. Can you hear that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Equalize that shit. Yo, get that gain structure under control. Here we go.
When you know what's going on, I don't get shy. Find I get so loud when you do, and you do not comply. Do not comply, but you don't and you won't say how it is to be loved. Yeah. Is to be loved, but you know it and you say that it's far too hard, but we never knew what we was talking about. From the cupcakes you made, cupcakes you made, cupcakes you made. Learn a lot from the cupcakes you made. You make them so good and you make them so great. It's a not situation, but you never know when it's going on. And if you want something stronger inside, you can show me so much. You can go try.
You got the same situation. Feel that. Right here. Champion sound. Righteous. We know what we say, but we know how it goes. We want to make sure that it is the one to be there when we do.
You wanna know how
It goes, but I just don't even know. Don't care. Wish I had to understand the word from the time that I saw it.
from the words that you said. Adjectives word like they wording so red,
But I didn't do my AMA, my AMA. I don't know what it is, but I did one just the other day, and it was just like asking questions on display. Whoa.